I'd like to zero in on the president's speech with you from your vantage point. Record length and a lot to talk about. What did he propose for the year ahead that's important to your agency?
Well, let's just start at the top line. This is incredibly courageous, forward-looking talk, and celebrating our 250th anniversary as a country, going literally back to our founding. And then tonight, who would have known when you're coming to hear the speech, you're going to get an opportunity to be present for the Medal of Honor being delivered twice. One for heroics from a warrior from World War II and Korea War, who's 100 years old, and then someone who just weeks ago was courageously led the charge as one of our helicopter pilots when they were arresting Maduro. So it spanned the whole 250 years. Yep. But again, I would just say two takeaways: peace around the world, prosperity for Americans, affordability. President Trump's policies turning this country around in the last 12 months.
A lot of focus on energy, as we expected this evening, as he reminded drill baby drill, but also talked about what he would like to see: the ability of the big tech companies, the hyperscalers, having the opportunity to bring in their own power plants to put aside their data centers, essentially off the grid. Is that something that the Interior Department is in the process of unlocking?
Well, absolutely. Through the National Energy Dominance Council that runs out of the White House, that President Trump has asked Secretary Chris Wright and I to lead, Secretary of Energy. We're working hard to make sure that we can do this, have this behind-the-meter capability, BYOP, bring your own power, because we need power. This is about energy addition. There is no energy transition. President Trump understands that we've got to have energy abundance. We've got to be able to sell energy to our friends and allies, including those that have been dependent on our adversaries. I mean, if you're getting energy from Iran or Russia and they're funding terrorism or wars, I mean, we can stop wars and stop terrorism by having energy abundance from the U.S., but enough abundance that we can keep prices for energy here at home low, even with the demand increase, so that we can win the AI arms race against China, which part of that race is who can generate the most electricity, because this is the first time in history you can take a kilowatt of electricity and turn it into intelligence. President Trump understands that. His policy is going to work for both winning the AI arms race and for keeping electricity affordable for Americans.
Wait, there's so much there. Do you worry about some of the concern that people have expressed about data centers, the NIMBY concerns, the worry about their electricity bills rising? Is this plan the way around that?
Absolutely, because if it's off the grid, it's not putting any burden on the grid itself, and it's not putting any pressure on ratepayers. Matter of fact, in North Dakota, when I was still governor, there just 15 months ago, we were completing a $1.2 billion data center, and the electricity rates were going to go down for all the people there, because you're spreading the cost across a big industrial buyer in a rural area. So there are ways where you can add capability, add a big power user like that. And if you do it in the right way, it actually brings power down. So it's only people that would be opposed to for other reasons, including the climate extremists, would come up with a story that says that artificial intelligence is going to raise your rates automatically. That's only with the wrong policies. With the right policies, they'll stay the same or go down.
Really interesting. Our audience is deeply concerned about the future of that AI race, what it means for this country. The president said a bit about that this evening, but clearly it's one of many priorities that he's pursuing in this new year. What's the most important way to win that AI race, even as the markets start to question some of the spending that we're seeing from these massive companies? They're the size of countries, Mr. Secretary.
Yes, well, but again, this is we're in recovering new territory, and we're going to see incredible capital flows around the world, and those capital flows, record capital flows, are going to go to places that have ample, affordable, reliable, and secure power, and that's going to be countries, and it's going to be states within those countries, within Europe. It may be certain countries as opposed to all of the EU. Secretary Chris Wright and I today met with 21 energy ministers from Central and Eastern Europe. Again, the race is on. People that have sensible energy policies that focus on affordable, reliable, and secure energy are going to see a boom in investment going forward, because it's not just the data center, it's what follows that, advanced manufacturing, the physical AI, because AI will be the greatest productivity increase that humanity has ever seen. It really is an extension of human capability, whether it's curing cancer, providing a tutor for every school kid in the world, or solving the most complex problems that we've ever faced. This is something that we need, and America and the free world needs to make sure that we're competitive in this AI arms race, and the way we do that is generate more power. Energy addition, there is no such thing as energy transition if you're shutting down 7x24 secure base load and adding intermittent, unreliable, foreign-sourced energy. That's energy fantasy. President Trump's focused on energy reality.
You're not only the Interior Secretary, but you're also a surrogate of the president. Typically, after the State of the Union, we see cabinet secretaries fan out across the country to hit home, to deliver the message that the president began tonight. Do you have travel plans? What do the next weeks and months look like for you?
Well, absolutely, and of course, all the cabinet secretaries will tie it in with part of their job. So I'm going to be heading out to western states where we have a large degree of federal land, a lot of intersection with those federal assets. What we like to say, the Department of Interior has got the largest balance sheet in the world, 500 million acres of land, 700 million acres of subsurface rich with minerals, 3 billion acres of offshore from American Samoa to the U.S. Virgin Islands, Gulf of America, which represents a huge energy component mix for our country. But yeah, we'll be spanning out and delivering the message, and the message is one that's a forward-looking prosperity. When you talk about the policies for your businesses, we're talking about cutting taxes, massively cutting regulations, record investment, incomes are up, inflation is down, interest rates are down, and affordability of housing is becoming more affordable. I mean, this is President Trump's right. We are entering a new golden age of abundance. This first year was an amazing 180-degree turnaround. The next year going forward could be nothing short of an economic miracle.